This is their first time at City Council, but I know that they are going to be very impressed by the proceedings and what they see here. So welcome. It's good to visit with you. I look forward to all the good things that are coming from you all in the future. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
All right, I think we have a quorum, so Madam Clerk, we're ready to go whenever you are.
Council President Moreau.
Here.
Vice President Willard.
Here.
Councilmember McCarron. Councilmember Harris. Councilmember King. Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Hughes. We have 6 members. We have a quorum.
All right, first up, we have the invocation by Elder Joyce Butler. I want to thank Elder Butler for being here today. She is pinch hitting for Bishop Tyrone Jefferson, so we really appreciate you taking the time to come here and do this today.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Customary with us that we touch and agree, because the Bible said where 2 or 3 are gathered together in His name, touching and agree. I know it's not customary, but if you can just touch with someone that's next to you, it's a form of agreement. It shows unity.
My buddy.
Most gracious Father, we thank you, who is our creator of heaven and earth. We bow before you this morning with our hearts toward you. We ask you that you would come into this meeting on today. Despite our differences, our different opinions, we want to be one in your sight. We want to be one voice that you hear, that everything that goes before you, that you would hear, not only hear, but also answer. We ask you now, God, that you would touch each one of these board members today. We ask that you would touch our mayor, all of those that are in leadership. Father, we ask that your spirit would be up on them, that everything that they need to do, that they would come together as one because of the people that we serve. You have given us an awesome and an amazing job to serve the wonderful people of New Orleans. And Father, we want to do everything that's going to please you in your sight. So we ask you, as we come together as one, in spite of our differences, that you still would hear us and that would make that the one thing that you would do for us. So we ask you now, allow your spirit to come into this place. Allow your anointing to fall fresh upon each and every one of us. Father, we want to give you praise and honor, that at the end of the day, you would be glorified in everything that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
God bless New Orleans.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Amy McCarron.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, Mark, you ready? Madam Clerk, before we get started with the rest of the meeting, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege on behalf of the entire New Orleans City Council. As you know, between this meeting and our last meeting, there was the passing of the great Norman Francis, the former president of Xavier and a civil rights icon. We're going to have a brief moment of silence while we have a slide presentation that quickly plays. At this time, I will call for a brief moment of silence to celebrate the life of Norman Francis. For the record, there will be a longer presentation at a time and place that will be set by the Francis family. Thank you. Mark. Thank you, Mark. Our hearts and prayers go out to the Francis family, and we wish them well during this very difficult time. Madam Clerk, regular agenda.
Consent agenda, page 1, we have a communication from Aaron Spears. This may be received. On page 2, we have a communication from Christine Turner. This may be received. Hearing date 3/12/26. We have a reporter, Kaya Howard. This may be received. We have a reporter, Caitlin Temrick. This may be received. At the top of page 3, we have a reporter, Eleanor Burke. This may be received. We have a reporter, Robert D. Rivers. This may be received. Hearing date 3/12/2026. We have ordinance calendar 35,330 by Councilmember McCarron. Municipal address 512 City Park Avenue, zoning docket 6125. This is all matters on the consent agenda.
Thank you. I have no cards.
I have one online comment.
All right, go right ahead.
This is from Susan Klein regarding number 2 on the consent. Please uphold the VCC decision regarding 601 Bourbon Street. The owners/agents of this property were informed and had the opportunity during renovation to install the lighting correctly and chose not to. Therefore, since they had the knowledge and opportunity to do the right thing and elected to be in violation, I don't think they should be rewarded for their informed, inappropriate decision. Please uphold the VCC decision and do not grant the applicant's appeal. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. I will move to adopt the consent agenda. I get a second. Second by Councilmember McCarron. Please vote your machines. 5 yeas, no nays. Consent agenda is adopted.
At the top of page 4, regular agenda item 1 has been deferred to the meeting of 3/12. At the top of page 5, we have item 2, legislative group in zoning docket 6225, City Council Motion M25-534, requesting an amendment to Article 20, Section 20.3.SSS of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to codify the eligibility of for sale small multifamily affordable developments as part of this use to allow SMFA developments to be occupied by multiple owners on one lot of record, to set affordability requirements for sale SMFA developments, to amend the definition for dwelling small multifamily affordable in Article 26.6 accordingly, and to amend any other section of the CZO required to accomplish these challenges. This includes, but is not limited to, use tables, bulk and yard standards, parking requirements, and on-site development standards. The proposed text amendment would affect regulations that apply to all zoning districts. The recommendation of the CPC being for modified approval. We have motion M26-92 by Councilmember Harris, denying the applicant's request for zoning docket 6225. We have motion M2693 by Councilmember Harris, directing the City Planning Commission to conduct a public hearing to consider amendments to ordinance number 4264 MCS as amended, the comprehensive zoning ordinance, to amend the definition of dwelling small multifamily affordable in section 26.6 to include not only affordable housing units offered for rental, but also dwellings offered as permanently affordable for sale housing, but not by nonprofit community land trusts offering long-term ground leases respectively for owners and leasers, and consider related additional amendments to set reasonable requirements for the use, including but not limited to amendments to the use standards contained in section 20.3.SSS in the use tables throughout the CZO.
Thank you. Is anyone from CPC here? Can you brief us on your report for small multifamily?
Sure. Zoning docket 6225 considers a text amendment to codify the eligibility of for sale affordable developments as part of the small multifamily affordable development by setting affordability requirements for these dwellings and allowing them to be occupied by multiple owners on one lot of record. Currently, the zoning ordinance considers small multifamily affordable rental unit affordability requirements. There is not an affordability requirement for owner occupants within this development. The staff believes adding an affordability requirement for the for sale units isn't necessary and could complicate a housing typology that has proven successful in its current form. The proposed amendment, as modified, retains the original goals of the small multifamily affordable program, but adds language to ensure all owners sign a deed restriction, maintaining affordability for the rental unit. The City Planning Commission recommended modified approval at its December 9th CPC hearing.
Thank you. The small multifamily affordable dwelling provides a critical, low-density path to affordable housing that blends seamlessly into the fabric of existing neighborhoods, offering opportunities to live in areas that are otherwise underserved by affordable housing units. We previously asked CPC to review options for the for-sale permanently affordable units within this model, but CPC considered only the question of whether this should constrain the existing program, not enhance it. We agree that this program should not be constrained. Accordingly, we are moving to deny CPC's modified approval of the previous motion via item 3B and offer a more nuanced approach for CPC to consider. Via item 3C, CPC will consider the following: whether allowing nonprofit community land trusts to operate permanently affordable for-sale housing within the small multifamily affordable dwelling model would be advisable. This request would allow families to build equity and wealth while ensuring that the dwelling units in question remain affordable upon resale. We look forward to working with CPC to ensure that this request is fully considered and that any solutions ultimately adopted balance the interests of all stakeholders to ensure affordable housing for our community that fits our community's needs and existing fabric. Are there any public comments? All right, with that, I move approval of 3B. I move, seconded by Councilmember Hughes.
Councilmember Harris.
Oh, thanks. All right, we do have some public comment. Eureka Alugas, followed by Jimmy Brown. Wait, these are not for this matter. Okay. Let's go back. I move approval of 3B. Councilmember Hughes seconds. All in favor? 5 yeas, 6 yeas. And I move approval of 3C. Councilmember Hughes seconds. 6 yeas. Thank you all.
At the top of page 6, Legislative Group and Zoning Docket 6525, Remy Enterprise 2020 LLC, requesting a conditional use to permit a hotel over 5,000 square feet in floor area in an HUMU Historic Urban Neighborhood Mixed-Use District on Square 382, Lot 1 or 19, in the 4 Municipal District, bounded by Washington Avenue, Magnolia Street, Clara Street, and 4th Street. Municipal address 2701 Washington Avenue. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval, subject to 3 provisos. We have a motion under suspension by Councilmember Harris, motion M2698, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 6525, subject to 3 provisos. We need to suspend the rules to receive this motion.
This motion under suspension should be to deny. So I'll move to suspend the rules to receive. Seconded by Councilmember Hughes. 5 yeas. 7 yeas.
We need to suspend the rules to add.
I move to suspend the rules to adopt. Councilmember Hughes seconds.
This is adding it to the.
I'm sorry, to add. 7 yeas.
Okay, and then we can move to deny them.
Well, let's get CPC to do the report and then we'll go through it. CPC, please.
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember. This affects a property located on Washington Avenue that is within an HUMU mixed-use district. It is developed with what was most recently an apartment building that is intended to be renovated into a 6-unit hotel. Per the city's master plan, commercial use in general, and the staff considers this to include hotels, is permissible because of the commercial history of the property, and so the staff, looks at the potential impacts of a hotel compared to other HUMU districts. Hotels of this size, can be non-impactful, and so the staff recommends approval. There was no opposition expressed at the Planning Commission meeting, and so the Planning Commission adopted that recommendation of approval with 3 standard provisos.
Thank you, Stephen. Although CPC has recommended approval, the report provides remarks regarding the anticipated impact on the surrounding land use and proposals' consistency with the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district regulations. Regarding the impact on surrounding land uses, CPC's report provides, and I agree, the renovation into a hotel is expected to alter the intensity and character of activity on the site. This change in use will result in different patterns of occupancy as it would be utilized to service a rotation of guests as opposed to servicing permanent families. The hotel would be the only use of its kind within the area, as the majority of the sites in the surrounding neighborhood are developed with residential dwellings, whether they are single, two, or multifamily in nature. This applicant asks us to introduce a transit commercial lodging use into a neighborhood that is primarily permanent residential occupancy. A hotel is not a neighborhood serving use, it is a tourism-driven use. A hotel introduces continuous transit occupancy, like guests, rideshare drivers, and service vendors who have no long-term connection with the neighborhood. Even if well-managed, the intensity and unpredictability of traffic patterns materially increases risk exposure. Regarding the proposal's consistency with the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district regulations, CPC report, and I agree, the purpose of the HUMU district is to encourage mixed-use areas that are compatible with adjacent or nearby land uses. However, the subject site borders residential uses in an area that is deemed primarily for residential development. In the case of this conditional use, the request does meet the parameters of the zoning district. However, the zoning of the property itself appears to be a spot zone. So I will move today to deny this application, not because of opposition to hotels, but because of an opposition to neighborhood incompatibility. A transient commercial lodging facility in a permanent residential neighborhood introduces heightened traffic, safety, noise, and character impact that conflicts with the district's intended function and undermines the neighborhood's stability. Public comment? I have two cards, Eureka Aguilas and Jimmy Brown. You each have 2 minutes, and please let us know if you, your address and if you're paid by any person to be here.
Okay, my name is Jimmy Brown, and I listened to your comment about this property, about its incompatibility to the neighborhood. We followed every rule that the city asked us to do. We were even approved by city planning. I'm not understanding and a little frustrated as to why we're here at this point when we followed your rule. I'm not understanding that. And as far as incompatibility, the neighborhood is, we're not talking about Beverly Hills. This property would only enhance what's around it. We also, you asked us to let the neighbors know what we planning to do there. We did that. We sent out over 200 notifications to let the neighbors know what our plan was. Nobody came out. There was no opposition. So is it the city's idea that it's incompatible? Is it the neighbor's idea who actually live in those neighborhoods? They don't seem to mind, because no answer is an answer. They didn't complain. We waited and waited for someone to come out and say yay, nay. We would have been fine with that. But we've spent money to move forward. Then we get a call saying that we should withdraw our application because it's going to be denied. Well, and they want us to start over. Everybody knows you can't start over on an application that's been denied.
Miss, that's your time. Ms. Aguilas?
Hi, I just want to briefly say that my name is Eureka Alugas, that Council Harris's office did call me. They called me twice, and they offered they asked me to resubmit my application. I spoke with City Planning Commission. They told me that they were in approval of my application, and they said that there is no opportunity to resubmit an application after it has been denied. They told me that there was no way I could do that, so I'm trying to figure out why your office would tell me that I could resubmit and get a waiver for my application because we paid so much money to submit it. We did everything we were supposed to do, like Mr. Brown said. We weren't opposed by any of the neighbors. The neighbors did not come out. We waited for them. We just want to know why we're being singled out for something that we did across the board correctly
And were approved.
and were approved by the City Planning Commission. Okay.
Thank you. Any other online comments? All right, I move to adopt. Seconded by Councilmember Hughes. Five yeas. Thank you. 6 yeas.
Item 6, Legislative Group and Zoning Docket 6725, Crescent City Falls Foundation, Inc., requesting a zoning change from an OSN Neighborhood Open Space District to an HURD2 Historic Urban Two-Family Residential District on Lot B and C, Prosperous Maroney Plantation, in the 5th Municipal District bounded by Lawrence Street, Pace Boulevard, Socrates Street, and Magellan Canal, and Morris FX Jeff Park. Municipal address 2701 Lawrence Street. The recommendation of the CPC being for modified approval. We have motion M2678 by Councilmember King, approving in part and denying in part the applicant's request for zoning docket 6725 to read as follows in the motion.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have a comment card from Mr. Richard Cortez.
Good morning, everyone. Richard Cortez, 201 St. Charles Avenue, on behalf of Crescent City Schools. Thank you, Councilmember King, council members. We support the staff's recommendation. We're fine with it. This actually puts the zoning back and makes it consistent with the master plan. So we are fine with the recommendation and support the staff's report. Hoping you can support the recommendation.
Thank you. I overlooked City Planning Commission, so we can have your report.
Sure. Briefly, this is a site that is adjacent to Burnham Park in Algiers. It is a school site. When the master plan was done several years ago, it was inadvertently given a park designation based off of a presumption that it was a continuation of Burnham Park. That got corrected in the last master plan update last year, so it now has a residential designation under the master plan. This would do the zoning side of it, implementing the master plan change through zoning, giving it the residential zoning it should have, and allowing the school the ability to operate and expand in the future. And so it's really just a corrective measure to what was inappropriate park zoning in the first place. And so the Planning Commission recommends approval with a modification that it should match the residential zoning adjacent to it.
All right, thank you, CPC. This essentially is a zoning correction. The zoning district, these parcels were inadvertently changed to an open space district when our 2015 CZO was implemented. We successfully amended the future land use map designation during the most recent amendment window, which paved the way for the zoning map amendment to HURD1, Historic Urban Two-Family Residential District, that is under consideration today. This will afford Harriet Tubman Charter School their flexibility needed to renovate and expand their campus as appropriate. With this, I move adoption. Second by Councilmember Hughes. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
At the top of page 7, item 8, Legislative Group and Zoning Docket 126, Earl Myers Jr., requesting a conditional use to permit a reception facility with an outdoor live entertainment secondary use on Square 327 of 328 lots 4, 5, and 6, and 8 in the 4 municipal district bounded by Phillip Street, Simon Bolivar Avenue, Reverend John Raphael Jr. Way, address 2300 Phillip Street. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval, subject to 4 provisos. We have motion M2694 by Councilmember Harris, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 126, subject to 4 provisos.
Thank you. CPC, will you brief us on your report?
Yes, Councilmember, this is an application affecting a property on Simon Boulevard. It is, or on Phillip at Simon Boulevard. It's part of the commercial corridor that extends along Simon Boulevard. The proposal is to use the existing building as a reception hall with the ability for outdoor entertainment. The Planning Commission finds this to be consistent with the commercial zoning and the character of the corridor. No opposition was expressed to the Planning Commission, so the Planning Commission recommends approval with those 4 provisos.
Great, thank you. I have 2 comment cards, Frisia Galvez, followed by Earl Myers Jr.
Good morning, council members. Francia Galvez on behalf of Zach Smith Consulting and Design and Mr. Earl Myers. Just wanted to come up here and say thank you for the staff report from CPC and the recommendation from the council as well. We accept all the 4 provisos that were provided, and I'm here to answer any questions if any questions come up.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Earl Myers Jr.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Earl Myers, and thank you all for a favorable vote.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I move to adopt. Seconded by Councilmember McCarron. 7 yeas.
At the bottom of the page, item 10, legislative group and zoning docket 226, Isaiah Byrd and Anjanetta Byrd, requesting a conditional use to permit a single-family residence in the GPD General Plan Development District on Square 171, lots 50 through 54, Riverside Subdivision in the 5th Municipal District bounded by Olive Street, Rankin Street, Paul Street, and the Mississippi River. Municipal address 3350 Olive Street. The recommendation of CPC being for approval, subject to 3 provisos. We have motion M2679 by Councilmember King approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 226, subject to 3 provisos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. CPC.
Yes, Councilmember, this is a proposal to construct a new single-family residence in Lower Coast Algiers. That area is quite rural by the standards of the city, and so development is limited through the conditional use process. The site is well-served by utilities and appropriate for single-family residential use, and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
All right. Any comments? Okay. Motion to adopt. It was second by Councilmember McCarron. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
At the top of page 8, item 12, legislative group and zoning docket 426, I Cannot Stand This Town LLC in the city of New Orleans, requesting a planned development for an adaptive reuse of an existing brewery over 10,000 square feet in the floor area as an amusement facility, indoor and outdoor in the C1 General Commercial District in an HUMU Historic Urban Neighborhood Mixed-Use District in the rescission of ordinance number 28,218 MCS, zoning docket 4619, and ordinance number 28,601 MCS, zoning docket 8920 on squares 482-A, lots 13-A and 23 in the 1st Municipal District bounded by Broad Street, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Thalia Street, South Durgenwall Street. Municipal address is 3935 to 3943 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, 3940 Thalia Street, and 1400 South Broad Street. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval, subject to 2 provisos and 2 exemptions. Motion M20, we have motion M2696 by Councilmember Harris, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 426, subject to 2 exemptions and 2 provisos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. CPC, will you brief us on your report?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember. This is the former Gem Theater site on Broad. Most recently, it was used as zoning mash brewery. The new use of the site is to be entertainment venue centered around baseball and that sort of thing. So the site really has two components. There's the Gem Theater, which is privately owned, and the use of that is permitted by right. Then there's the city-owned adjacent parcel, so the city is signed on as a co-applicant, and that corner property is to be used as outdoor space. The zoning itself doesn't permit that, so that requires this approval for the use as outdoor space. In total, the commission finds this to be an appropriate use of the corridor. It maintains the Gem Theater. It provides an amenity for the community and families. And so the Planning Commission recommends approval. The Planning Commission did not receive any opposition, and so you have that approval recommendation.
Thank you. Ron Lazel?
1000 South Norbert C. Francis. Thank you, CPC staff again. And thank you, Councilmember Harris, for you and your office on working through this. We're very excited that this adaptive reuse has become something to deal with baseball. As most of you here know, I am a 12-month out of the year traveling baseball dad. So these facilities are missing. You have Gretna, you have Harahan. This will really enhance having one in New Orleans. And it would be great to have one out in New Orleans East as well. There's definitely a need for it, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hughes?
Thank you. I can't help but ask this question. And you know what I'm about to ask. You know I appreciate you. I Can't Stand This Town, LLC. Tell me how you came up with that name.
Look, there is a story behind it that doesn't deal with New Orleans, but I hear you loud and clear. We heard it loud and clear at CPC, and I am red.
Do you love New Orleans?
I love New Orleans, especially the West Bank.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Especially the West Bank. All right, with that, I move for approval. Councilmember King, second. 7 yeas. Thank you.
At the top of page 9, item 14, Legislative Group and Zoning Docket 526, Russell J. Frank, requesting a zoning change from an HMR1 Historic Marigny Treme Bywater Residential District to an HMC2 Historic Marigny Treme Bywater Commercial District in a conditional use to permit an outdoor live entertainment secondary use in conjunction with a hotel in an HMC2 Historic Marigny Treme Bywater Commercial District. The applicant seeks a waiver of the limitation on operating hours to permit operating hours of 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight on weekends on Square 196, lots 3A, 5A, A1, M, or B, 10A, 11, and Port Lot 15. Proposed Lot 10B in the Second Municipal District, bounded by Dumaine Street, North Claiborne Avenue, North Robinson Street, and St. Anne Street. Municipal address is 1608 through 1620 Dumaine Street, and 816 through 834 North Claiborne Avenue. The recommendation of the CPC being for denial. We have motion 2689 by Councilmember King, approving in part and denying in part the applicant's request for zoning docket 526.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, CPC.
Thank you, Councilmember. This is the site of the Blue Crawfish Hotel and Bar on Dumaine at North Claiborne. That site, that development intends to expand through this conditional use and zoning application in 3 ways. One is there's a residentially zoned property to the side that is to be used for parking. That can't be done under the existing residential zoning. And so the applicant seeks a zoning change of that adjacent parcel to allow its use for parking. Secondly, the applicant is requesting approval for outdoor entertainment for jazz and other live entertainment along the patio and pool area. And then thirdly, there's a limitation on the hours for outdoor entertainment, and so the applicant is seeking an extension of those hours. So the Planning Commission heard this. There was a good amount of opposition expressed to the Planning Commission, both at the meeting and in written comment, and so the commission really was divided. On one hand, they recognize that this is along North Claiborne and you have the bridge and just the intensity of that commercial district, and this, use supports Treme, it supports activity along Claiborne, and they viewed that all as a good thing. On the other hand, they received a lot of concern from nearby residents about intensity of operations, noise spillover, parking demand, and the like. And so ultimately their vote was split. Some voted in favor and some voted in denial. but there wasn't a majority vote. And so the impact of that is essentially a de facto denial recommendation from the Planning Commission.
All right. Thank you, CPC. So this zoning docket has spurred no shortage of feedback from neighbors, culture bearers, and immediate stakeholders. I personally hosted a community meeting earlier this week in Treme to hear directly from those who will be mostly affected by this proposal. This application contains 3 distinct requests, which I would outline in a moment, along with our motion, which I believe strikes a reasonable compromise. The primary request is for a conditional use to permit outdoor live entertainment, which our motion approves, but does so with additional guardrails. Namely, the applicant would be limited to no more than 2 outdoor live entertainment events per week to the use standards. In addition to capping events at 40 per year as opposed to the 156 that would otherwise be permitted. The second request is for a waiver to permit extended hours for these events, which our motion denies. Lastly, this docket includes a request to amend the zoning district of the vacant lot abutting this site on Dumaine from residential to the same commercial zoning district as the rest of the development, which we are moving to approve. This motion does not give any one side everything that it wants, but I believe it reaches workable middle ground that will ultimately benefit this corner and the historic Treme as a whole. So I do see Councilmember Morrell want to speak.
Yeah, I see a lot of individuals in the audience who are here, I think, on this item, but I didn't see any cards. So I just wanted to make sure that we were aware of what was the position of the people in the audience, because it's a lot to come up here, and there comes Miss Major. All right. Come on down.
I think we got people here for
Something else?
SOS.
Okay.
SOS.
So there's no one here on this item.
Okay.
That's what happens when you get up. At the wrong time.
So Ms. Austin, just we all know who you are. But when you finish, just fill a comment.
I did not come to speak on this today. You know why I'm here.
I know why you're here.
Okay.
But because it is on the agenda and you're speaking, and I think someone needs to say something. First of all, I think the motion or whatever you are putting on the table to pass in that form is too restrictive for a business that wants to provide live entertainment in a neighborhood that grew up hearing music morning, noon, and night. That's number one. I understand we have new residents in the neighborhood that brought visitors from around the world with their short-term rentals. And it's not the music that bothers me. It's the doors slamming all night long in the middle of the night. So everyone know my position as a resident and as the executive director of Greater Treme Consortium. We do not oppose any type, unless it's illegal, of economic development in Treme because we've been suffering too long without an economic base. And so I would hope that a better compromise can be worked out, not just on the policy end, but with the residents also.
And
Don't forget we need parking.
Yes, Ms. Austin. So
I'll comment now. I mean, I think that Councilman King is really trying to navigate a very delicate balance between what the community wants and what the neighbor and residents want. But to this point, I know that for me, I support the compromise, but to the point that was just made by the speaker, if you are living off of Claiborne Avenue, based on the historic use of the properties along Claiborne Avenue, I do not think why you would think that as a quiet bedroom community. I think that when you look at the history of Claiborne, my mom grew up on Claiborne when there was trees on Claiborne, and you look at all of the people, all of the musicians that came from the Treme, I think it's really important for us to honor that tradition and that history and not allow, I mean, I know Councilman King calls this out, and I'll call it out too, not allow people who just moved into that neighborhood to redefine what that neighborhood is. So that being said, I support the compromise because district council members often have to negotiate these compromises. But what I want to say to future developers in that community is, do not think you could come into that community and dictate to that community what can go in that community. So I support the compromise. I know it's very difficult to navigate the conflicting desires, but whenever, because my office has heard from people in opposition to this, including some elected officials in opposition to this, and I've told all of them consistently, you must not know Claiborne or Treme very well if you don't think something like this is appropriate. So, thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. And I want to thank the Treme community because there was opposition. There were people on opposite ends of the spectrum on this, but we had a good meeting earlier this week. A lot of issues were ironed out and addressed in a public forum, and I think we got to a good spot where everyone walks away feeling like this is something that we all can move forward with. Ms. Sharon Austin, your points are duly noted. You're a lifelong Treme resident who lives a few houses from this property, so we appreciate your comments. As far as parking, the owner has agreed to make it very clear and visible that there is a large open parking lot across the street from this establishment. So hopefully that will alleviate some of the parking issues, and we are exploring permitted residential parking along this street. So with that,
Councilmember, I've got a couple online comments. Do you want me to read them, or?
we'll just add them to the record. Thank you. Make a motion to adopt. Second by Councilmember Harris. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
At the top of page 10, we have item 16, legislative group and zoning docket 626, city council motion M25-530, requesting a text amendment to Article 19 of the comprehensive zoning to create a new interim zoning district to be named the Transient Lodging Interim Zoning District, to require conditional use approval for hotels, motels, hostels, short-term rentals, commercial, timeshare, bed and breakfast, principal and accessory in all zoning districts, citywide where they are otherwise permitted. The proposed text amendment would affect regulations that are applied to zoning districts which permit transient lodging. The recommendation of the CPC being for modified approval. We have motion M2686 by Councilmember Morrell, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 626.
CPC, you have any comments?
I'll just quickly state that this is an interim zoning matter that creates a bridge to new short-term rental and hotel regulations that is intended to result from the study that the Planning Commission has recently completed and transmitted to Council. And so what this does is essentially puts a pause on transient lodging development for the next year, could be extended for a second year, and allows applications to come through the conditional use approval process. This process has essentially begun in that the motion went to effect at the time it was adopted a couple months ago. And the Planning Commission is supportive of this approach and recommends modified approval with slight modifications to some of the language in the ordinance.
I want to thank City Planning Commission for working with the council on this item. I think that, I just want to kind of reiterate in plain speech, but basically, we had that transient lodging study that came out regarding commercial short-term rentals. This simply, we are going through a very complicated process, working together, the council and CPC, to figure out how we're going to regulate them. This simply does not allow them to pop up in the interim while we're figuring it out. So it is important, it's essential, and it is part of the council and the City Planning Commission having a very deliberative approach to how we do the regulation of neighborhood and commercial short-term rentals. So I move for adoption. Can I get a second? Second by Councilmember Karen.
Councilmember, we had 2 online comments.
We'll add them to the record. Thank you very much. Members vote. 7 yeas, no nays, adopted. Thank you, City Planning Commission.
At the top of page 11, we have legislative group, and items 18 and 19 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 12, item 20, legislative group and zoning docket 826, 2915 Bienville Property LLC, requesting a conditional use to permit a reception facility in an HUB1 Historic Urban Neighborhood Business District on Square 395, Lot 5 in Part 6, in the Second Municipal District bounded by Bienville Avenue, North Dupree Street, North Gayoso Street, and Conti Street. Municipal address 2915 Bienville Street. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval subject to 2 provisos. We have motion M2695 by Councilmember Harris, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 826, subject to two provisos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. CPC, will you provide your report?
Thank you, Councilmember. This application is for a reception facility on Bienville in Mid-City in an existing building. No changes to the exterior of the building, just a change in use. Similar to the one we heard on Simon Boulevard a moment ago, this is within a multi-block commercial corridor that is defined by commercial uses in addition to residences, and given the length of the corridor, the scale of it, and the character of it, the commission finds this to be an appropriate commercial use. No opposition expressed to the commission, and so it's here with an approval recommendation.
Thank you. I'll move. Seconded by Councilmember King. 7 yeas. Thank you.
We have item 22, zoning docket 926 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 13, item 23, legislative group and zoning docket 1026, Wilson Canal 2 LLC, requesting an amendment to ordinance number 8046 MCS zoning docket 5180 for a conditional use to permit a motor vehicle dealership small in the CBD 4 Exposition District on Square 1, Lot 2CP, in the Second Municipal District, bounded by Canal Street, North Peter Street, Iberville Street, and Bodine Street. Municipal address 333 Canal Street. The recommendation of the City Planning Commission being for approval, subject to two provisos. We have motion M2680 by Councilmember King, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 1026, subject to two provisos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Crowell.
Thank you, Councilmember. This is a proposal to fill a empty lease space within Canal Place with a vehicle dealership, as well as use of one of the parking levels for temporary vehicle storage for customers receiving orders. The conditional use process around car dealerships kind of presumes a large format, suburban style dealership. This is really not that. It's more of a, like any of the other shops in Canal Street, a retail experience where you kind of view the product, you order online, and then you receive the vehicle once it has been received. So it's not like there's going to be large parking yards or anything like that. It's more of a retail experience like people are accustomed to at Canal Place. The commission was very much in favor of this, sees this as good as for Canal Place, good for Canal Street. No opposition was expressed to CPC, so we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Crowell. Before I acknowledge Councilmember Willard, I just want to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilmember Willard. You may have the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what dealership or company it was.
We have been told it's an RV EV car company, electric vehicle, but haven't been told the exact brand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Willard. I just want to make it clear that this is not Mr. Crowell, this is just like a showroom. It's not 100 car.
No, that's exactly right. You'll see these in malls across the country. Right. There's 2 or 3 cars within a mall-like environment. You view the car. If you want to buy it, you order it online. Okay. You're not going through a huge inventory of on-site cars.
Thank you. Well, we did not receive any opposition from this. Any online comments? Okay. With this, I make a motion to approve or to adopt. Second by Councilmember McCarron. Seven yeas, no nays. Thank you.
Item 25, legislative group and zoning docket 1126, Corvius Real Estate Holdings LLC, requested an amendment to Article 8, Section 8.2, and Table 8-1 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to classify contractor storage yard, outdoor storage yard, and warehouse as conditional uses in the MMU Maritime Mixed-Use District. The proposed text amendment would affect properties located in an MMU Maritime Mixed-Use District. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval. We have motion M2690 by Councilmember Hughes, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 1126.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Crowell.
Thank you, Councilmember. This is an application for an amendment to the MMU Maritime Zoning District that extends along a portion of Chef Mentor Highway in New Orleans East. This is an area that historically has had a mix of both residential and industrial zoning, and so this stretch of the corridor has a mix of industrial uses on larger footprint sites as well as camps and smaller residential uses. What this does is allow an application through the conditional use process for outdoor storage type of activities, which makes sense given the former industrial zoning and scale of some of the properties. But it would be a site-by-site evaluation through the conditional use process as opposed to a by right entitlement. The Planning Commission finds that to be appropriate given the characters of many of the properties within this corridor, as well as the history and location, and recommends approval. No opposition was expressed to the Planning Commission on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Crowe. We do have 2 public comments. Ron, you're up first. Please state your name and address for the record and tell us how much you love the city of New Orleans.
Especially the West Bank. Ron Lazel, 1000 South Norman C. Francis. Again, thank you to City Planning Commission and the staff. I'd also like to thank you, Councilmember Hughes, on sitting down with us and understanding the project. This is a company that does national work throughout the United States. This is kind of a staging area for these platforms and these beautiful items that they create for these festivals to get right to the highway and to head out across the United States. So the company is located here in New Orleans, and it's a great win for the city to have this sort of company and then investing into the East as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Geiger. All right, looks like she waves. With that, this text amendment classifies contractor storage yard, outdoor storage yard, and warehouse as conditional uses in the MU Maritime Mixed Use District, allowing for expansion with appropriate oversight. These added uses increase opportunities for property owners while ensuring continued careful review. With that, I move approval of this text amendment. Second by Councilmember McCarron. Members, please vote your machines. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
At the top of page 14, item 27, legislative group and zoning docket 1226, Corvius Real Estate Holdings LLC, requesting a conditional use to permit a contractor storage yard, outdoor storage yard, and a warehouse in an MMU Maritime Mixed Use District on Track A or H1, a roadway in lots 170, 172, 174, 176, 178, Fallbird v. Malazan, in the 3rd Municipal District bounded by Sheffman to a highway and Ridgeway Boulevard, municipal address 19,001 Sheffman to a highway. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval, subject to 2 provisos. We have motion M2691 by Councilmember Hughes, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 1226, subject to 1 waiver and 2 provisos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Crowe.
Thank you, Councilmember. This is the site-specific companion application to the previous matter. It is for a parcel that is a large triangular lot at Sheff and Ridgeway Boulevard, intended for the staging that Mr. Lozel just described. The staff finds this to be well-suited for this type of activity. It's at the intersection of 2 state highways, so there's immediate access to transportation corridors. The site has a large parcel, and so the Planning Commission is supportive of the proposed use and recommends approval.
Thank you very much. Ron?
Ron Lazel, 1000 South Norman C. Francis. Just want to add to what I've already said, that one of the benefits this property will be is that for those boats or campers that are outside of the levee protection system, when the gates need to be closed, they are going to open up the space for free for people to park their vehicles in there instead of along the road inside of the levee system. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. With that being said, I agree with the staff's recommendation. I move adoption. Second by Councilmember Harris. Please vote your machines. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you, members.
All right. Council members, we have a motion under suspension, motion M2697 by Councilmember McCarron by request, adding the President of Council as a signatory to a grant agreement between the City of New Orleans, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, and the New Orleans Community Support Foundation, and authorizing the President of Council to sign a grant agreement between the City of New Orleans, the New Orleans Community Support Foundation, and the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. We need the vote to receive this under suspension.
I'll move. Seconded by Councilmember Hughes. 7 yeas, 6 yeas.
One more. We need to vote to add to the agenda.
I'll move. Seconded by Councilmember Willard. All those in favor?
You could discuss them.
Okay, thank you. Members, this is for by request for the W. Kellogg Foundation. The city was awarded a $200,000 grant for the development of an urban food plan. This will address the gaps in food access and help support local food producers and access efforts. The grant contract is for 2 years. This program will be led by City Planning in collaboration with Sprout NOLA, New Orleans Health Department, the Food Policy Council, and others. This motion adds the council president. Yes, if you'd like to.
Thank you, Councilmember McCarron and the council. My name is Grace Treffinger. I'm in the City Planning Commission as the Urban Agriculture Liaison. I've been working with Kate Parker here from the Kellogg Foundation to get funding for the city's first urban agriculture and food access plan. It's a priority that we should be working on citywide, and it connects to health outcomes and quality of life and many other things. Again, a $200,000 grant that would go towards this plan in partnership with the New Orleans Community Support Foundation and the other partners mentioned. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any online comments or comment cards? Okay, great. With that, I'll motion to approve. Seconded by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor?
Yay.
Great. 6 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
Thank you.
At the top of page 17, we have ordinance calendar 35,336 by council members Morrell, Wheeler, McCarron, Green, and Hughes by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance 30,532 MCS entitled, an ordinance providing a capital budget for the year 2026 to effect the following change to the 2026 capital budget. To de-appropriate funds from the Department of Public Works to appropriate them to the Department of Public Works and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
$36, all right, thank you. Trying to keep up with it. Thank you. Do we have some Public Works here? Going. All right. Essentially, this is a reallocation of existing Public Works money. Do we have any comments, cards on this? If not, I'll move for adoption. Second by Councilmember King. Please vote your machines. 7 yeas, no nays. It's adopted.
At the bottom of page 14, we have item 29, legislative grouping with motion line over M2346, and M23427 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the bottom of page 15, we have ordinance calendar 35,117 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. On page 16, we have item 33, ordinance calendar 35,127 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. Item 34, ordinance calendar 35,332 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th and referred to committee. At the bottom of the page, item 35, ordinance calendar 35,333 by Councilmember King. An ordinance to provide for the designation of public property within a specified area of the city of New Orleans as a temporary special event clean zone during the time period beginning at 6 a.m. Monday, June 29, 2026, and ending at 6 p.m. Monday, July 6, 2026. Relative to the use of the public areas in conjunction with the 2026 Essence Festival of Culture presented by Coca-Cola, the effective period and relative activities and events produced by Essence Festival Productions, LLC, to provide for temporary prohibition of certain commercial activities in the special event clean zone, unless approved, sanctioned, or authorized by the city or as set forth in the sponsors defined below. Event permit and defined permit if and as applicable. To provide for the establishment of one or more public participation areas, to provide for the establishment of fines and penalties for violation of this ordinance, to establish a special event clean zone within the areas bounded by Pontchartrain Expressway, Tapatula Street, Orange Street, proceeding down the Mississippi River, the West Bank Levee, Esplanade Avenue, North Claiborne Avenue, Tulane Avenue, and South Broad Street, excluding the Louisiana Superdome property, the New Orleans Smoothie King Arena property, and the Ernest Morial Convention Center property, to provide a sunset period of applicability and otherwise to provide respect thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have any comments, public comments on this? I do see Councilmember Morrell to be acknowledged. Just want to say, and I know what Councilman Morrell is going to say as well. We are aware of alleged non-payments to local vendors from Essence. We can always, and we will revisit this if we don't get answers from Essence as it relates to the non-payment or the alleged non-payment of our local vendors. At this time, Councilman Morrell.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Councilman King said, just because this is an ordinance that can be changed or repealed. So I just want to be clear, we have heard complaints from the community, from vendors, that they have not been paid from last year, and we certainly are aware and are cognizant of the fact that if that is not resolved in a timely manner, it will certainly impact whether or not the city is willing to do a clean zone for this group or any other group. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Morrell. With that, make a motion to adopt. Sent by Councilmember McCarron. 5 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
On page 17, we have item 37, ordinance calendar 35,337 by Councilmember King by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance number 30,532, MCS as entitled. An ordinance providing a capital budget for the year 2026 to effect the following change to the 2026 capital budget. To appropriate funds from the Department of Property Management and the Department of Sanitation to appropriate funds to the Department of Park and Parkways and otherwise to provide respect thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have a number of comment cards. First, we have Ms. Karen Oker. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, O-C-K-E-R. Followed by Mr. Valentino.
Hi, my name is Karen Ocker, and I'm here to to express my support for this funding of the study, and I am honored to have been a part of this since 2021, and want to thank my council member, Amy McCarron, and the rest of the city council. Thank you.
Mr. Valentino? We want an SOS item.
Good morning. Michael Valentino, 433 Country Club Drive. I'm here representing Basin Street Station. We are thrilled to know that the Armstrong Park Municipal Auditorium initiatives are advancing and applaud this initiative for scores of reasons. We've been at Basin Street Station since early 2002. We've been a stakeholder in that neighborhood. Our executive offices are also located on Claiborne and Lafitte. And we believe that connecting the Lafitte Greenway through the Armstrong Park with Municipal Auditorium, if that is congruently developed, will be a linchpin piece of the city, connecting Treme community, St. Augustine Church, and transitioning the Greenway to and from the quarter, creating a lifeline of activity through the city and through these assets. So we just want to applaud the initiative of this council and this administration to recognize this project as an important priority and to move it forward with funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dow, followed by Mr. Cyril.
Good morning, council members. Dow Edwards, 1026 Amelia Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70115. I'm here on behalf of the SOS and the Congo Square Preservation Society, just speaking on the significance of finally putting an investment into the root culture and where culture originates from in New Orleans, and that's Congo Square. I think that for far too long we have heard people talk about the culture bubbling up from the streets of New Orleans without investment from the city itself. Well, I think at this point in time, this is a significant investment from the city to do a long-term strategic master plan for the site of the Congo Square. It's a site where originally our ancestors was relegated to. But out of that site bore the whole culture of the city of New Orleans. Some say a lot of the culture of the nation comes from that site with respect to music and all those things. So now to have a strategic master plan that we study that and how we can make a significant impact in telling that story and telling the story of New Orleans from that spot, it's a significant investment, and I think it's well worth, and appreciate you putting the motion up, Councilman King. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Charbonnet. I'm sorry, Mr. Cyril, then Mr. Charbonnet.
Good morning, Councilman. My name is Cyril Salney, and I'm at 1831 St. Philip Street. And for the past 13 and a half years, been an honor working toward one vision. And that vision was to bring a Levitt Pavilion to Louis Armstrong Park and expanding free live music access for the people of New Orleans. But today I want to sincerely thank the council and thank you, my councilman. Your forward-thinking leadership and your approval of the master planning process for Louis Armstrong Park sends a powerful message. It says that this council believes in culture, it believes in equity, it believes in investing in spaces that belong to everyone. Louis Armstrong Park is not going to be just green space. It is a sacred ground in the story of New Orleans. It carries the legacy of Congo Square. It carries the sound of jazz. It carries the spirit of community resilience. By supporting this master planning effort, you are honoring that legacy while building for the future. A Levitt Pavilion in New Orleans will mean 50 free concerts every year. It will mean families gathering across neighborhoods and generations. It would mean opportunities for local musicians, workforce development, and small business engagement. And importantly, it would mean consistent, high-quality programming that reflects the cultural richness of our city. Now, the Friends of Levitt Pavilion New Orleans, our nonprofit organization, is committed to being an active, collaborative participant in the master planning process. We are ready to work alongside the city.
Thank you, Mr. Cyril. Mr. Charbonnet.
Good morning, Council. I'd just like to say, as a resident of Treme, since I've been there all my life, and I've been working to try to make something work very good for Armstrong Park most of my life, most of my adult life. It's really significant to see that you all are transferring sufficient funds to do a proper study, and hope we don't study it too long, to bring about the reuse of the auditorium. I mean, if you're my age, I'll be 87 in about 2 weeks, so if you're my age, you can remember when there were graduations, there were parties, there were balls, there were all kind of activities at that facility. There were everything. We used to live to go into that park. But the thing is, it's been basically idle. It's never reached its potential since it's been there. We've tried all kind of ways to make it a Tivoli garden and all these other things, but that never worked. So let's hope that you all do something historical, allow this community to live and thrive in its culture. And I'll just say thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. King, for bringing this to the council, and we'd appreciate a positive vote from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charbonnet. I want to say, if the Lord allows me to live as that long, I hope I look like that at 86. So. Ms. Sandra Stokes.
Good afternoon, good morning. I'm Sandra Stokes, 2030 Peniston, and I am grateful to the mayor and I'm grateful to all of you for this opportunity, for this funding finally. This is a great day. I'm here as a board member of Save Our Soul, a proud board member of Save Our Soul. These are a hardworking group. I'm also representing Louisiana Landmark Society, and I'm representing NOLA Parks for All. And this is one of those situations where, as most of New Orleans, all of this comes together. It is the preservation of architecture, of parks, and of our culture. And it's a wonderful opportunity to take this vacant building that's been dormant for so long and turn it into an economic driver for all three, for preservation, for parks, for culture, and as an economic driver. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Stokes. We have Max. Max. I want to pronounce the name, mess it up.
Thank you, council members. Max Bonanno, appreciate it. I'm here representing Mid-Citizen Entertainment. We're one of the hardworking music industry organizations in town. We've been in the city for about 8 years in its current iteration, and some of the owners and principals and the artists and creatives that we work with have been here for much longer than that, and some their entire lives. And I think this is a great step today in the right direction. We're here to advocate to make sure that music is at the center of whatever this project ends up being. I think it has the opportunity to be such a great central hub for the music community, not only existing but upcoming here in the city. And I think that one thing that everyone on the council, and I think a lot of the members of the audience, certainly the Save Our Souls Coalition and the supporting organizations understand, is that there's a huge monetary barrier to get this project done. And I think that there's a lot of people in this room and a lot of people in the business community that could be activated to not only get the amount of money that is needed, but the proper funding that is not going to come with strings, that is going to make sure that the preservation of the culture and the music are preserved in whatever this project ends up being. I think this project, as the gentleman said before, has the possibility to provide a lot of legacy for everybody on this council that will outlive a lot of us. Maybe not the 86-year-old gentleman who's going to keep kicking here for quite some time, but it is going to go a long time. And I think that looking back, some of the next generations of New Orleanians are going to say, you're going to talk about times when the municipal auditorium just sat dormant, and people are going to say, how did that happen? And it's going to be the people that are working here in this room, both on the council and the audience, that are going to bring it back to life and make it something that's going to preserve the culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonanno. Next, we have Freddie Evans.
Good morning. My name is Freddie Evans, 3730 Rue Mignon, New Orleans, 70131. I would like to thank this administration for the proposal to fund the restoration of the municipal auditorium and move forward with advancing the overall complex. And as a board member for Congo Square Preservation Society, and also as the author of Congo Square, African Roots in New Orleans, the most comprehensive study on the historic site, I am well aware of the significance, the history, the influence that Congo Square has not only on New Orleans popular culture, but of the culture of the world and the nation. So I really applaud and I support this effort to bring more attention to this untold and undertold story. We take advantage of the culture and the history that we have here, but this will help to advance that. And I thank you and support you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Ethan Elstad.
Hey, good afternoon, Council. Ethan Elstad, 1762 Paul Morphy Street.
Usually I'm coming representing the Music and Culture Coalition of New Orleans. Today I'm representing them, but also a proud board member of the Save Our Soul Coalition. First, to say thank you to Councilmember King, the entire council, and Mayor Moreno for moving this forward. I think it's a fantastic step, and I know you're hearing from a lot of people, so I'll take it really quickly. I think, as Max had said, I think there's a real opportunity here to create performance space, but also a real incubator space for music, for culture. So make sure there's business support, make sure there's practice rooms to make sure it really is both, supporting and perpetuating the culture as it moves forward. And also just want to say, I don't talk about it as much, but I do have a master's degree in urban planning. And so I'm on some national boards that talk about intersection of culture and planning. And I think what's so amazing about this particular project is the way that it centers community-led planning and making sure that the community is forefront in whatever happens next. I think there's a real opportunity to make this a national, international model of the way things can be done well, that really supports and makes sure that culture, community, and community needs are forefronted. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hughes, did you want to go now or later? You want to speak now at the end? Okay. Ms. Jackie Harris?
Hi, my name is Jackie Harris. I live at 124 Rosalind Park Place and was a resident of Treme for 10 years. I cannot stop smiling, and I have to really thank all of the people who are here to speak on behalf of this. I was trying to figure out what I would say, but all I can say is thank you to Mayor Moreno, and thank you for the council for sticking with us. We were here many years ago. And in 2026, we're about to move forward, and we cannot do this without each other. We can't do it without you, and you can't do it without us. And we are all here in support of this and of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Asueta? Ms. Asueta? Soweto? Ms. Sharon, there she goes. Asetua, I'm sorry. This is Asetua.
Good morning. Asetua Amor Aminkou, 1426 North Miro Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm representing Save Our Souls, Kumbuka African Drum and Dance Collective, and the Washita Nation Black Masking Indians. I had to put that in there too, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I want to say thank you. There are no words. There are no words to describe the speed at which this project is taken right now. It may seem fast to those in the audience, but we know it started over 5 years ago. So we are just grateful for your attention, your commitment, and your dedication. We know that this project is going to be for all the people of New Orleans. The Municipal Auditorium represented all the people in New Orleans, and we want to make sure that that still manifests in the final plan. As the mayor says, we all in, y'all. We all in.
Thank you, Ms. Asetua. Next we have, I'm going to say this one, Ms. Austin, but later I know you have a longer speech. We're going to let you go last, Ms. Austin. Divine Prince Ty.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Voodoo Chief Divine Prince Ty Emeka. I reside at 1531 Dumaine Street. I am a committed resident. I am a committed team member of SOS from the beginning. I'm a member of Greater Treme Consortium, and I am the co-creator and co-founder of New Orleans International Voodoo Day, now in our 3rd year. I'm eternally grateful to Brother King and all of his assistants to our organization in making this a very successful international event. We also appreciated the signing of the Sister City Agreement last year by the mayor with the city of New Orleans and the sister state of Ouidah, Benin. We look forward to a continued relationship moving forward, and we are really excited about the movement and the progress and the proposal that's on the table now for the redevelopment of the municipal auditorium and certainly Congo Square and Armstrong Park. We, as has already been mentioned, certainly honor and respect Congo Square as a sacred space. It is indeed a cultural space, a community space, but for us, it is indeed a sacred space. So again, I'm really thankful for the participation and support that our organization has received from Freddie King and the City Council, and we look forward to moving forward with the new mayor in another successful year. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Ms. Mays? Ms. Sabrina Mays?
Good morning. My name is Sabrina Mays. I live at 11101 North Idlewood Court, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70128. And I stand here ready to shout, hallelujah. We are so thankful to you, Councilmember King, and to all of you who have been on this journey with us, and to those of you who we have spoken with concerning our journey. And so for us to be here today in support of the funds that will be used to create this master plan from 2021 to now, we're ready. We're more than ready. And what it says is that collectively you believe in the collaboration of community and government, but that more importantly, that you believe in a project that will, one, bring this city together, different culturally, traditionally, ritually, economically, and that we create a state, what is that? A state-of-the-art environment for people to come here and celebrate what we do, what is normal, what is naturally to New Orleans to us. So, yeah, I'm a little bit giddy about all of this, but I've worked to be giddy. So I thank you guys. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace.
Thank you, Ms. Mays. Ms. Barbara Major?
Good morning. My name is Barbara Major, 3601 Rue Michelle, New Orleans, Louisiana, Algiers. It's very rare that a community gets to thank its leadership, but it's deserving that you are being thanked. I can just call out my particular council person, which is Councilperson King, but I actually feel I know all of you, for many of you for many, many years, since you were like really little, JP. But if y'all think Louis looked good for what, 87, Louis? I'm 92. I'm lying, yeah. Damn, y'all believe I'm 92? No. One, I want to echo what everyone else has said about the plan and about Armstrong Park, and it was really interesting because when Cheryl Austin called me, I go like, Cheryl, she said, Barbara, you need to come. She said, you and Ryan Chisholm, y'all been there since the beginning, way longer than 5 years. We've been fighting for our presence, particularly the African American community's presence in whatever happened in that park. And as everyone has said, it is sacred. And one of the things I want to make sure we never forget is that the Treme community has made money for everybody except itself. So whatever we do, I would appreciate that there is continued collaboration between the community and its leadership, and those of you who are in a position to make these decisions, but I'm very grateful for what you're doing. And it's nice for me to come here and not be in adversarial relationship with the council. Things have changed in New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ford. Ford.
Reggie Ford, 3907 St. Claude. I didn't know I was speaking today, but I'm in support of SOS. You know, I'm out here to represent them, make sure their ideas and what they need to happen is put on the forefront, and also communicate with the younger generation to let them know how important these cultural spaces is and that they be invested in with tax dollars. And I'm just happy to be here talking to this new council too. I think the best council ever assembled in my lifetime. And looking forward to seeing you guys work with the community and with this bond money to start finding a way and a plan to get this property developed. Because I could see it being something very big, especially with the indoor portion of where you could bring your cultural events inside and stuff. So I'm just in here in full support of this thing, moving forward and watching the bond money being used in a creative way. And thank you to Helena Moreno for finding the unassigned bond money to put forward. And I look forward to talking with the council, connecting with SOS, and communicating to the public of the things that's going on with this thing. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Sharice Harrison Nelson. Sharice, okay.
Good morning. My name is Sharice Harrison Nelson. I am a child of Treme. Well, I was conceived in Treme, and I was baptized at St. Augustine Church. My father's life celebration was also held there. My father was the late Big Chief Down Harrison Sr. He lived at 1125 St. Anne Street, which the house is still in the park. He left from there as the Big Chief of the Creole Wild West in 1957. He worked with Luther Gray on having Congo Square designated as a National Historic Place by going into the park weekly with Luther to drum and play sacred Indian chants. When the park was finally designated, my son, Big Chief Brian Nelson, dressed out in his suit along with my nephew, formerly Christian Scott, now Grammy-nominated musician Zion Atunde Ajawa. Brian, my son, is a graduate of USC, University of Southern California, in cinematic arts. His thesis film was Keeper of the Flame. It is a narrative short based on the Masking Indian tradition. It is an award-winning film that has been shown all over the world. My brother and father were in part the inspiration for two of the characters on the Treme show. There are some stories in there that are really from our life. We have receipts. The story with them making a CD that really happened, and it's from their real life. And my brother, Down Harrison Jr., is the Big Chief
Ma'am, we have a 2-minute hard cutoff, so the mic's already off, but we appreciate your comments. Thank you very much.
Last name is Evans, I believe. 1904 Bartholomew Street. Okay.
I greet you in love and respect. I am the Vice President of the Congo Square Preservation Society, and I speak on behalf of the Preservation Society. particularly for the legacy work of Luther Gray and Mama Jamila Mohammed Peters. We are the Congo Square Board Preservation Society, and we come to say, yes, we're happy about the money, but I really want to speak on behalf of how the money is going to be used. It's very, very important. We say in one of the languages of Africa, in the Ewe language, we say, Ejo Kublima. It has been since ancient days that our ancestors have been on that land. It has been since ancient days that people have come to protect that land. And no matter what the money is, it must be handled respectfully according to the laws of our ancestors. We all know that when you demolish or desecrate sacred land, there is something that you have to be mindful of in the spiritual realm that you cannot see. So the money must be handled respectfully, ceremonially, and ritualistically in honor of the people that danced and drummed on that land. We hold drum circle every Sunday at 3 o'clock. All of you are welcome to come. We urge you to come so you can see the way we hold ceremony there and the way that we make sure that they are honored. I do have a cautionary word that I would like to have you all look at, is the word master plan. Master plan has disturbed me since I saw the flyer, because the master plan is what got us in a lot of mess and a lot of pain in our community. We don't have no more time for a master plan. We have time for a sacred and respectful plan. And I think that word needs to be looked at very, very carefully. Ashe.
Thank you. Councilmember Morrell.
At this time, I want to move to add 5 additional minutes for public comment. We have 2 other speakers, and I just want to be respectful of that. So I'll move. Can I get a second? Second by Councilmember King to add 5 additional minutes. All in favor, please vote your machines. All right, 7 yeas, no nays, additional 5 minutes. Thank you.
Nelson? Ms. Nelson?
Good morning. My name is Renata Alexander Young, and I live at 822 North Robertson Street, and I'm here as a lifelong resident and a homeowner. I've been living at my home for 32 years. We grew up in the Treme area. I grew up, was raised, and the only thing I think, and I love what's going on, because I would like to see that sore eye, which I call the auditorium, repair, because of the culture. It's missing the spirit that Treme represents. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Young. I have a Sharice Harrison Nelson. Okay. Oh, you spoke. Okay, he's filling out a card. Well, you can come and speak, and following this next speaker, will be closed out by Ms. Charlotte Austin. After this speaker here, Ms. Austin. Ms. Austin, you're the last one.
Let's see if this one goes down.
I am in Congo Kids, and I take lessons from Papa Tito's.
And where is Papa Tito's from? The Congo.
The Congo.
Yes. So I'm getting some of his minutes, but he's one of our children, and he's in Congo Kids, and he learns about the history of Congo Square, and we really support this for our children, not as well as everyone else in the city, as a sacred, special place.
Thank you.
Everyone, I hope I'm less than 5 minutes, really 3, but I just need to say this. First of all, thank you all. I want to extend my appreciation to Mayor Marino, her administration, and the City Council for the focused forward momentum underway to improve the municipal auditorium in Louis Armstrong Park. The clarity and pace at which this process is being handled give us confidence that we are not starting over, that we understand what will be developed and how, and the community has a seat at the table to shape the future of Louis Armstrong Park. Our future actions are not simply about identifying a developer to help create the master plan. We are the masters right now to help create the master plan for Louis Armstrong Park, but a testament to the people of Treme who have carried the vision of what this park must be: culturally rooted, economically just, historically honest, community-centered, and environmentally safe. When we talk about the future of Louis Armstrong Park, we cannot separate it from water. As someone who has trained for the past 10 years with WaterWise Gulf South, I've learned that flooding is not just an inconvenience. It is infrastructure, health, and economic stability. As Armstrong Park sits within the historic footprint of Congo Square in the larger Treme neighborhood, this land has always had a relationship with water. The flooding we are seeing, the stormwater challenges around the park are not accidental. It is the result of decades of hard infrastructure, soil compaction, and
Hold on 1 second, Ms. Austin. I'm going to yield to Mr. King, who's asked for an additional minute of personal privilege so you can keep talking.
Okay.
You have 1 additional minute, Ms. Austin.
Okay, I have 1 additional minute. Well, I'm going to take that minute to do what I think is important. Number one, call out Mr. Ron Chisholm, Jim Hayes, Barbara Major, who started this fight and struggle over 50 years. I'm sorry, let me please just say this because it's so important. The history of this sacred site now points to the current leadership emerging from within, led by Jackie Harris, president of Save Our Soul. Her steady leadership, discipline, and consistent attention to detail ensured that every voice had a place in this process. She did not rush it. She did not narrow it. She organized it. Through her leadership and through the committed members of SOS who worked meeting after meeting, document after document, is what got us here today. Yeah, I had more to say, but I'll save it for another time. Thank the city of New Orleans because they also came out and supported our efforts. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. We'll hear from Council President Morrell, followed by Council Member Jason Hughes.
Thank you. Fortunately, I don't have a time limit, so I can talk as long as I want, right, Eugene? All right. That's a good thing about being on the council. I'm going to try and keep it short, but I've got a lot to say. I think it's really important for me to I know we're celebrating this milestone, but I think it's important to recognize the history of this particular fight and this particular struggle. I want to begin by thinking, it always says it takes a village to raise a child. My village is here, Jackie, Asatawa, Miss Mays, y'all are 3 people back to McDonough 15 that if you don't like what I do, you can blame 3 of them for helping shape me as a person. But when I look at this project, it kind of reminds me of like the Iliad and the Odyssey in that it has taken so long. Think back to before this last council's term when the city tried to turn Armstrong Park into City Hall. And that was really the war. That was the war that kicked this whole thing off because that effort was so tone deaf and against what Armstrong Park was, what Congo Square was, and what the community wanted. And I cannot help but highlight that SOS arose out of that, and the work that SOS has done has been largely unfunded volunteer work. Now I want to highlight that because it's important, and I mess with Miss Mays all the time over this. The SOS been actually given the funds it's requested based on as many press conferences as y'all have been requested to attend by the previous mayor, previous administration. The planning would have been done already. A lot of people have attached themselves to the work that you guys have done at Armstrong Park and Congo Square Municipal Auditorium, but they haven't put their money where their mouth is. And this council and the previous council has been consistently pushing for that. And it took a member of the previous council becoming the mayor to finally put the money where the mouth is. And look tremendously forward to what you will be able to do now that you actually have the resources and support to do the planning, the extensive planning you've been ready to do for 5 years. And I appreciate the tenacity of this organization, the optimism, that the eternal optimism that despite every setback, you guys have never wavered from the fact that Armstrong Park and Congo Square will be developed and honored in a way that supports the community, and the municipal auditorium will be reborn as something that serves the community. Because as a student of history, particularly French Quarter, Treme history, there was a time when the people who lived in Treme were not allowed to use the municipal auditorium. And I will not let people forget, there was a time when certain Mardi Gras crews had balls in there, and people that looked like me and the majority of this council weren't allowed to go in the auditorium that was in Armstrong Park and took up Congo Square. So while it is important for us to reclaim the space, we will not forget that when municipal auditorium was being used exclusively by certain people in the city, it was very well maintained and taken care of. And when it became open to all, that is when you saw a lot of resources not being put back into municipal auditorium. So that space has to come back as a space everyone can use that honors the communities of the city of New Orleans, but more importantly, honors the history and the commitment of the people of Treme and the French Quarter who have this in their backyard. So I'm so excited we're here today. I'm so excited this council and this mayor are gonna actually give you the resources that have been promised to you for 5 years and are finally putting their money where our mouth is so that you can get this done. And this council will continue to support the efforts of this community to develop this space in a way that honors the history of this community. Thank you.
Ms. Anita, if we have any online comments, just put those in the record. Councilmember Hughes?
Thank you, Council Member. Let me echo all of the words of our Council President, J.P. Morrell, and let me thank sincerely all of the members of the public that spoke today in the Save Our Souls Coalition. Many of you have acknowledged Council Member Freddie King, and in this moment, I want to echo those comments. Council Member Freddie King is quiet. I call him a quiet storm. But he operates with intentionality, and he is our quarterback on this council on this issue. And so, Council Member, I thank you for your leadership. And while this sacred space is anchored in Treme, it belongs to us all. This entire city, this entire state, this entire country, this entire world. And so, I thank you, Council Member King. I thank our Mayor, Helena Moreno. And whether it's the best of times or the worst of times, and right now we know we have some challenging times, our budgets must reflect our priorities. And this must be a priority moving forward, no matter what type of financial situation we are in. And so, with that said, I just thank everybody for your relentless advocacy of keeping this front and center, and let us march on until victory is won. Thank you, Councilman King.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes, any other comments from the dais? I'm hearing none. Councilman Hughes, I could not accept the credit alone. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you to the former council. Most importantly, thank you to thank you to Mayor Moreno. Most important thing thank you to the community for showing up today, not just today, but in years past and months past, expressing your concerns and making us do what we are doing today. Without you all here today and in the past, this day would not have, we would not be here today. I want to acknowledge that we have members of this city from all over. We heard it from Algiers. I saw folks from Bocage in the east and in Mid-City and Uptown, just showing how important this is. You usually have people from one pocket of the city to voice their concerns or voice their opinion about the issue, but we have folks from all over who came out today to express their support, and that is something that you rarely see in City Hall. And I also want to thank Ms. Major for saying something that struck a chord with me. He said it's time for Congo, for the Armstrong Park to make money. I may be saying it wrong, to get money, because we've made enough people money. And I just think that that is really that speaks to the history of Armstrong Park, the history of Treme. It was a place where blacks were kind of forced to go, the blacks who made people in this city and this world money. But finally, we are giving money back to that community. It's a small portion. We will and should do more. But we are finally giving money back to those who have made so much money, who has made this city what it is. Without Treme, I believe we would be looking at Jefferson Parish Part 2. So Treme is really the heartbeat of the culture that this city is known for worldwide. So without Treme, this city would not be what it is. And I don't want to start thanking people as I forget somebody, but Ms. Harris, Ms. Austin, Mr. Baptiste, everybody who came here, all the members of SOS, thank you all very, very much for your advocacy and your support. And I will make a motion to adopt. Second by Councilmember McCarron. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
I'm going to ask our SOS folks if you don't mind staying around for 10 more minutes, because we have a very special tribute that is to a cultural icon. Just give us 10 minutes, if you will. Stay with us for a second. Go ahead. Okay.
On page 24, item 59, we have motion M2685 by Councilmember Green. We need to withdraw this motion, and we have a substitute motion designating the intersection of North Johnson Street and Independence Street as the Big Chief Donald Harrison Sr. honorary intersection pursuant to section 146-762 of the Code of the City of New Orleans. We need to vote to add this to the agenda.
Yeah. Okay. It's been added. We need to add it to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. So I move to
add.
I move to add to the agenda. At this time, I'm honored to ask members of the family of Big Chief Donald Harrison to come forward to the table, just for a second.
We need a second real quick, Councilmember Green, to add it to the agenda.
I second.
Okay. Councilmember Harris, second, 7-0. All right.
I thought we voted.
We already voted.
I know. What are we doing now?
We already voted. Seconded and voted.
I'm honored to represent District D, but I'm honored to be a New Orleanian. And what we just saw today was committed community members who understand the importance of recognizing our culture and those who have spent so much time working to enhance the quality of life for so many people through celebrating what we are as a city. I'm reminded today of the presentation by SOS and the supporters of why I enjoy living in the city of New Orleans. Another reason that I enjoy living in the city of New Orleans is because families such as the family of Big Chief Donald Harrison do so much to contribute to our city because they love our city. And as they come forward, I'm respecting the fact that they're coming forward, but I know that you can hear me and share with me. Big Chief Donald Harrison was a legendary Mardi Gras Indian chief and a cultural leader who spent decades preserving sacred traditions and mentoring young people in our great community of New Orleans, especially in our African American communities. His family home and museum are located in my district. I'm honored and I'm pleased, especially when I'm in the Ninth Ward. I think about that fact all the time, how important it makes the Ninth Ward. So it makes this designation today especially meaningful. I am proposing today, subject to council vote, that the honorary intersection of North Johnson and Independence Street be named in perpetuity the Big Chief Donald Harrison Sr. honorary intersection, a fitting tribute to a man whose legacy continues to shape the cultural fabric of New Orleans. I feel confident as I respectfully request the votes of the members of the council to make this intersection a permanent part of our city's lore. I want to say on this day, I look forward also to our local residents as well as visitors saying that when they come to New Orleans or because they're in New Orleans, they want to visit Congo Square and the Municipal Auditorium because of its history, but that they also want to go to the Big Chief Donald Harrison Museum and Independence at North Johnson Street, because that's also a part of the history of our city. So I thank you, members of the family, for being here today as we take this matter up officially. I'll ask for a person or point person to introduce who is at the table with us, and I celebrate with you today.
And all family is not blood. We have at my far right, Dr. Al Kennedy, who wrote my father's biography. At my far left, we have Sigmund Bloom, whose son is in two of our children's groups. And they have done phenomenal things, made recordings with Irma Thomas. They're making a CD now with Charmaine Neville. I want to call all of the names, but it's going to be very impressive. And we have Ori. Ori is a guardian of the Crossroads for the Young Guardians of the Flame, and he's also a Congo kid. And next to Ori, we have my baby sister, Kara Harrison Daniels. And to my left, we have my mother, Harisse J. Harrison, who is the wind beneath our wings and the person with the sheer tenacity to bring an idea to fruition with having the museum built.
I'm just tremendously honored to be here on behalf of my late husband, who was a man that was generous to a fault for others. Not only was he a prolific reader, he was generous with his time to everyone without fault. So to be here after his passing by 28 years is actually, I'm just tremendously honored and blessed to be still carrying on the work that he instilled in me and his children. And I thank all of you for allowing me the opportunity to do that on behalf of his legacy and our future, our children, for us to give what we tried to give to the city of New Orleans when I started a book giveaway in his honor in 2006, far before any other book festivals that amassed much more money than I have been able to amass. But we still give books away in large amounts. David Francis, Dr. Norman Francis, his son, provided me with a venue, which was the Old Times Picayune, that gave me, in the beginning, adult books, because we were going into the schools giving the entire school population books on their level to try to combat high-stakes testing to get our children literate and responsible human beings that could pass that test like zip. That was what I wanted to do in his honor, because that's the life that he gave me, a literate life, a life of critically thinking about the challenges we face as a people, and to do whatever we could as Harisse and Donald Harrison to provide children with opportunities. I thank all of you in his honor.
And thank you for providing those opportunities, and it's been well recognized.
And Ori has a statement.
Good.
Hello, my name is Ori. I am the son of Malik, who is now my ancestral guide. And Scribe Queen Christiana, which is my mom, is a member of the Queen Reese Collective. And also the Guardians, also the Guardians of the Crossroads and the Young Guardian of the Flame Maroon Society. As Guardian of the Crossroads, I am the bridge between my dad's legacy and the legacy of Queen Reese's dad, Big Chief Donald Harrison Sr. He was the founder of the Guardians and also known as Nicey Nice. A few of the things I love about the Donald Harrison Museum is that we learn and do a lot of cool kid things. I learned to play my June June drum, which was a gift from the museum. I get to perform with my friends at events like LunaFest, Jazz Fest, and K20. I even got to record in a real recording studio and will co-produce a song on our CD. The Young Guardians have done so much for me and the city of New Orleans, which is why I support an honorary street named after Big Chief Donald Harrison Sr.
All right, thank you.
He's 7. He's 7 years old, and he reads on a 6th, 7th grade level. And he's the baby of the table today. So I don't know if my baby sister wants to say something.
Well, I just want to touch on, Mom talked about my father's quest for knowledge and his drive for information. It was a lifelong yearning, and he instilled that in all of his kids. But on the artistic side, he also exposed us, along with my mother, to a myriad of experiences. But he nurtured our musicianship. Everybody kind of had to play something in our house. But he put a horn in my brother's hand, Donald Harrison Jr., who's a jazz master at this point. But he also nurtured the musical and creative journey of Zion Atunde Adjua, formerly Christian Scott, who is his grandson and my son. And other artists, visual, filmmakers, painters, sculptors, all come from this one family. And it started with our matriarch, my mother, and my father, Donald Harrison Sr. And so I appreciate him being honored in this way. Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
It's been my honor to be a part of this family, but I had the pleasure and the honor to interview many, many times Big Chief Donald Harrison, and I learned so much more. One example that I'll give you is when my first interview, he sat down and asked me, "Are you hip to Camus?" All of a sudden, I had to dig up every one of my college philosophy books in order to catch up with him and stay and learn. And it was the best graduate school experience I ever had, even though I wasn't in graduate school.
You want to say something?
I'll just say that we moved here 7 years ago, and I tell people that if you see something in New Orleans and you want to be part of it, you can, just by asking. And it's a city that if you love it, it will love you back through these people and through the connections and love and things that you do to affirm your values and take a stand for the world that you want to live in. You can feel like you can change the world through being with people that you love and doing things that you love. And I know that's an echo of Hariste and Donald Sr., and I think we should do everything we can to continue to resonate that.
On behalf of my family, we would like to thank you for designating that corner in my father's memory. And you can be guaranteed on Carnival Day, they will have children walking out of that door to go throughout the neighborhood to greet elders. That's what they do. They greet elders. You have to be at least 80 years old. And it's important work because this year we had 2 people to call and ask if we were coming. And last year we greeted 2 people. Unfortunately, they became ancestors within a week of us visiting them. So the children do bring joy to the neighborhood in honor of my father, as well as through the book program. Thank you.
Well, from now on Mardi Gras, we can look forward to having another location to go to where people are going to be celebrating Donald Harrison Sr. and the culture that makes New Orleans very special. So on this day, as I mentioned, I am so honored to be the council person whose district includes the Donald Harrison Senior Museum, and subject to the vote of the City Council, the Donald Harrison, Big Chief Donald Harrison intersection of North Johnson and Independence. I'm reminded again of how special New Orleans is when I think of the work and the legacy of Donald Harrison Sr. I am so pleased to be a New Orleanian, and on this very special day, a day that has already been made special by a vote of the council and a presentation of SOS, I'm pleased to add to the specialty of this day by saying we celebrate Donald Harrison Sr. and the family, and say 2 very important words to all of you all. Thank you for sharing Donald Harrison Sr. with us. Thank you for making our city special. Members, I move at this time that we designate the intersection of North Johnson, comments from council members before we move. Thank you, Councilmember King.
Councilmember Green. Is Malik, is that it? What's his name? What's his name?
Ori.
Ori, I thought you said Malik. Ori, I want to personally thank you. The way you spoke today at the desk and at the podium is very impressive. And what is more impressive to me is the way your ability to read. Being 7 and reading on a 7th grade level is very impressive. You don't see that quite often. And I want to thank you, his family. I know it took all of you all to get him where he is. It's impressive, and I'm very proud that you conduct yourself in a manner that you do. And I'm sure you're going to be very successful in the future. So I want to give you a special shout out because I was sitting back saying, man, how old is this kid? Because he's reading. He's not stumbling, and he's reading, big words. Very impressive. Keep it up. What school do you attend?
I am homeschooled.
I figured
But I also go to a micro school.
Say that again?
I'm homeschooled, but I also go to a micro school.
Well, it shows that you have somebody who spends a lot of time with you in reading. So hats off to whoever that is, and thank you, family.
Thank you.
Such maturity. At this time, members, I move for the approval of motion number 2685, which designates the intersection of North Johnson Street and Independence Street as the Big Chief Donald Harrison honorary intersection. I look forward to celebrating continually the legacy of Donald Harrison Sr. and in promoting the 9th Ward for its cultural heritage and contribution to our city. Members, please vote your machine. The measure passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Harrison family.
At the bottom of page 17, we have motion line over M25 182, adding Councilmember Harris and deferring it to the March 12th. At the top of page 18, we have item 39, motion line over M25 183, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to March 12th. Item 40, motion line over M25 184, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. Item 41, motion line over M25 186, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 19, we have item 42, motion line over M25 187, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting.
1 second, ladies and gentlemen, we're still trying to finish the meeting, so I know there are a lot of conversations. Can y'all do them in the hallway, please? Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to converse, please converse in the hallway because we're trying to finish our meeting. Thank you. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
We have item 43, motion line over, M25-189, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. Item 44, motion line over, M25-35, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 20, we have item 45, motion line over, M25-36, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. We have item 46, motion line over, M25-38, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. We have motion line over, M25-39, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of. At the top of page 21, we have motion line over, M25-88, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. Item 49, motion line over, M25-435, adding Councilmember Harris, deferring to the meeting of March 12th. Item 50, motion line over, M2638 is deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 22, item 51, motion line over, M2639 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. We have item 52, motion line over, M2640 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. Item 53, motion line over, M2641 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 23, we have item 54, motion line over, M2644 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. Item 55, motion M2677 by Councilmember King, designating the intersection of Frenchman Street and North Claiborne Avenue as John Knight Honorary Intersection pursuant to Section 146-762 of the Code of the City of New Orleans.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. This motion is in honor of Ms. Jean Knight, a New Orleans native who most of you likely know from her big hit, Mr. Big Stuff. This honorary designation at Frenchman and North Claiborne is near the former home and celebrates her voice and legacy. Are there any public comments? So we.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. I'm the son of Miss Jean Knight. Emil Commodore. I'm also currently living at 116 Harbortown Court in New Orleans, so just moved back from Florida. We're very honored that you all took the time, and especially you, in particular Councilmember King, to honor my mother in this way. That intersection of Frenchman Street and Claiborne is very special to us. I mean, that's where the magic happened. That's where Mr. Big Stuff was born, and Jean Knight, the entertainer, had the first big break and took that on to other songs and a very long and fruitful career, including, I'm sure you all have heard the song, No Mess With My Tutu, and so forth. So she was long-term member of the crew at the Jazz Fest, always entertaining at the Jazz Fest. And so, again, we're delighted to be here, delighted that you all took the time. I want to also especially thank Herman Galatas for being the impetus behind this motion and getting everything actually in gear. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Please ask that you fill out a comment card out once you're done.
Oh, okay. And I just want to say one quick note. During her last 7.5 years, we were in Tampa, and she was there, but every single day she wanted to come home. And she made sure that everyone knew that Tampa was not her home, it was New Orleans. And she wanted service to be at Maria Goretti Church, and she wanted her remains to come back home, which we honored her with that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't forget to fill out 2 comment cards. Ms. Morgan Clevenger.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you for celebrating and honoring our culture every day that we can, and was very gratified to see the last motion and transfer of funds to get the long-awaited Armstrong Park moving. I want to say, Jean Knight, wow, not enough words. I was very honored to be her friend. but also worked with her for many years in Jazz Festival as a performer and as a Jazz Fest staff member. And this is a great honor for her, and it's well-deserved and is supported 150%. We cannot do enough to remember our people. Mr. Big Stuff is now sampled in numerous commercials and all across the world in songs and raps and everything else. So we definitely want to remember her and her iconic song. But she was also just a great human and a great New Orleanian who never stopped loving our city, as her son just said. And I want to thank the Galatas family and Marie Galatas, who is especially a good friend of my mother, as Mr. Chisholm, Jim Hayes, Randy Mitchell, and many others, Donald Harrison, who all work so hard for the culture to be honored and considered in this city on an everyday basis. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any online comments from the dais? Hearing none, I make a motion to adopt. Second by Councilmember Willard. 5 yeas, no nays. Thank you. Congratulations.
At the bottom of the page, motion M2682 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the top of page 24, we have motion M2683 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. Item 58, motion M2684 has been deferred to the meeting of March 12th. At the bottom of the page, we have to wait a second.
Madam Clerk, I'll pick up the item for Mr. Green at the bottom of the page, as well as the item on the next page for Councilmember Hughes.
Okay.
So you just add me to those.
At the bottom of the page, item 60, resolution R2687 by Councilmember Green, adding Councilmember Morrell, a resolution calling an election in the Lake Oak Subdivision Improvement District for November 3rd, 2026.
Thank you. This is a renewal election. I'll move to adopt. Second by Councilmember Willard. Please vote your machines. 5 yeas, no nays.
On page 25, we have item 61, a resolution R2688 by Councilmember Hughes, adding Councilmember Morrell, a resolution calling an election in the Lake Bullard Neighborhood Improvement District for November 3rd, 2026.
This is for the election for the renewal of an existing security district. I'll move to adopt. Second by Councilmember Willard. Please vote your machines. That is 5 yeas, no nays.
Council members, we could suspend the rules to go to ordinance.
I will move. Seconded by Councilmember Willard. All in favor say aye. Aye. 5 yeas, no nays. We're on ordinances on first read.
Ordinances on first reads. Ordinance calendar number 35,339 by Councilmember Hughes, an ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit an outdoor storage yard in a GPD General Plan Development District on Square 151, Lot 678, Woodland Heights, in the 3rd Municipal District, bounded by Old Gentilly Road, Almanasta Avenue, and Reed Boulevard. The municipal address is 10760 Old Gentilly Road, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, zoning docket number 6025. Ordinance calendar number 35,340 by Council Members Harris and McCarron. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a standard restaurant over 5,000 square feet in floor area in an HUMU Historic Urban Neighborhood Mixed Use District on Square 579, Lot A, in the 6th Municipal District, bounded by Ferret Street, Sonniette Street, LaSalle Street, and Robert Street. The municipal addresses are 5030 Ferret Street and 2239 Sonniette Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, zoning docket number 6625. Ordinance calendar number 35,341 by Councilmember King by request, an ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into amendment number 4 to a previously executed cooperative endeavor agreement between the city of New Orleans and Healing Minds NOLA relative to the public purpose of supporting the New Orleans Assisted Outpatient Treatment Program, abilities to coordinate physicians to conduct mental health evaluations for prospective AOT participants in compliance with Louisiana Revised Statute 2866 at Sequoia and to compensate physicians for same by operating the AOT programs through the Orleans Parish Civil District Court and working to connect people in need of mental health treatment, to appropriate resources through case management and court supervision, to modify the provisions thereof and extend the term thereof for 1 additional year is more fully set forth in the amendment number 4 form attached hereto as Exhibit A and made a part hereof and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,342 by Councilmember McCarron by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 6400 Memphis Street to fix the minimum price and term of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reason for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,343 by Councilmember McCarron by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 373 Walnut Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,344 by Councilmember McCarron by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 5400 Magazine Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That concludes the ordinances on first reading.
Thank you. With that, I will move to adjourn. Second by Councilor McCarron. Please vote your machines. 5, all in favor? Aye. 5 yeas, no nays. We're adjourned. What I will tell